So, Ali Moreno, we've reached the end of the regular season. Now things get interesting. But before they do, I want to have some Ali's MLS Awards from the regular season. Why don't we start, sir, with the newcomer of the year? Who do you like in this category?
I think this is a runaway. It's Cristian Arango for LAFC. Now, the only thing about LAFC and Cristian Arango that didn't quite work out is the fact that he wasn't here earlier. This guy joined in the middle of the season, literally in the middle of the season, 17 matches, 14 goals. And really, to be quite honest, when you look at LAFC and the balance of the season, the only reason they had a chance late in order to make it into the playoffs was because Cristian Arango was scoring a bunch of goals. And boy, did they need those goals. But of course, not enough. LAFC out of the playoffs. I think the story would have been different had Cristian Arango been with this team from the beginning of the year.
Now, I think the answer to this is obvious, but I've known you long enough to know that you can throw a curveball from time to time. With the Revs finishing 836 points clear in the Eastern Conference, is it as simple as their coach gets Coach of the Year? Or, so far, you got another idea for us?
No, there's no curveball here. There's no curveball, there's no knuckleball. It's a fastball right down the middle, and it has to be Bruce Arena. Now, a little shout out to a former coach of mine, Robin Fraser. He was my coach at Chivas USA. Didn't quite work out there, but he's certainly working out now with Colorado Rapids and what he's been able to do with that team. I think it's outstanding. However, when you are the best team in the league, Supporter Shield winner, and essentially the runaway favorite in going into MLS Cup, you've broken records in terms of points. I don't think this is nothing more than a formality. I mean, this is Bruce Arena all the way. And breaking news from everybody out there, Bruce Arena knows how to win in MLS. We have seen it before. We're seeing it now. He put this team together, and all it's left to do, it's a big thing to do. It's a big task. You got to close it out. Got to win MLS Cup. But so far, so good for the New England Revolution.
Ali, what's impressed you most about the Revs during the regular season under Bruce Arena?
Consistency. And there have been many a times where other teams, whether that's in the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, they take a couple of steps forwards, they look good. Okay, this is a team that may challenge, and then a couple of weekends, they just kind of fall off the pace. As for the New England Revolution, they've just been in a very consistent pace. And there have been moments as well where they could have taken a step back because, you know what? It almost became too easy for the New England Revolution, and yet they continue to get results. Where everybody else was just falling off the pace, they continue to get results. It's no wonder they're the best team in MLS.
I think the award for Coach of the Year so far is an obvious one. One that's not so obvious is the Young Player Award so far in the regular season. Who does it go to as far as you're concerned? Because there's a number of quality, young, talented players I think could be up for this.
So I could go in the direction of the New England Revolution and go with Tejan Buchanan because of how important he has been to this team and how good and productive he has been for this team. And he gives Bruce Arena a lot of flexibility as to what he can do with him on the field. He can play him as a right back. He can play him in the midfield. He can play him as a winger. He can play him in an attacking position as well. And he has been outstanding. But the fact that I mentioned Tejan Buchanan, I said so many great things about him, probably tells us that he's not the guy. No. Why is that? Because this game is about scoring goals. It's about being goal dangerous. And I have to say, I'm all aboard that Pepe train. I'm all aboard Pepe Mania. I'm behind it. I believe that Ricardo Pepe is a kid that continues to get better. The scary part is that he's actually going to improve even further. He's goal dangerous. He's been important to FC Dallas. And really the only reason to watch FC Dallas is Ricardo Pepe and the excitement that he brings to that team. Ricardo Pepe, enjoy him while you can because he may not be around MLS too much longer.
Before we get to our final award, the MVP of the regular season, let's build some tension. Without naming names, what are you looking for when you're considering who is the MVP of the regular season?
Well, there are many sort of attributes and categories and things and potential assets that you may want to see from an MVP in order to make your decision. But sometimes, instead of making it complicated, we can just make it very simple. Who's the most important player or who's the best player in the best team in the league? It's a simple equation. So who's the best player for the New England Revolution? Who's the best player with 18 assists, the best in the league? Who is the one guy that the ball goes through him in order to make things happen in the final third? The guy with creativity, the guy with a sense and a vision, and the guy who can deliver those passes. Well, that's an obvious choice. It is Carles Gil. And it has to be Carles Gil. Because, look, I look at him and I think of a player that is just a difference maker in MLS, that is seeing different things. It's seeing different pictures than everybody else. And the game just slows down for him, and he's able to pick out the passes. It's one thing to see it, and it's another thing to execute it. And he does that regularly for the New England Revolution. Now, some would say, well, what about Gustavo Bou? He's the one getting the goals. He's the one. You just told me that this game is about goals. Yes, he gets an honorable mention. I'm going to go with Carles Gil.
Not too difficult a decision then. I mean, when you consider previous MVP of the regular season award winners compared to this season, I suppose if you look at what New England Revolution have done, there's not many teams that have been that dominant in the Eastern Conference in recent years as the Revolution this season, has there?
No, and I guess what people would say, well, hold on a second. You got a whole lot of options with the New England Revolution and a whole lot of players that are doing very well. So how could the MVP be part of that group? Well, I'm not going to punish Carles Gil because they have been excellent, because Gustavo Bou has been excellent, because Adam Books has been excellent, Tenyu Buchanan has been excellent. Well, yeah, that's the concept of a team. But you have to look at what makes a team go in the attacking half. And it starts with Carles Gil. He is the one that really kind of puts things together. And then these other parts come and are able to finish the chances, or are able to take their opportunities, or their movement ahead of the ball is great. They've been dynamic in the attacking half, and Carles Gil is behind all of that.
So that's the most important awards out the way, the MLS Cup and awards. They're secondary in value to getting Ali's MVP for the regular season. So that's the first awards that have been handed out. Only a few more weeks to go till we find out who gets the real stuff in Major League Soccer. Ali, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN Plus.